Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we're looking at Colleen and Moran. She was 24 years old in 1985, Port Orchard, Washington. She was only 5'2" and 110 pounds. So, there's a lot of those girls that went missing around that time, and they were all very tiny and petite, around 5 foot tall, and never to be heard from again. They haven't found their remains. Blonde hair, hazel eyes. She she went out for a night away from her children, got a babysitter. Her friend dropped her off at the bar in Port Orchard, Washington. That was it. She was never seen or heard from again. Her maiden name was Decker. They have no idea what happened to her. No idea. And this was Port Orchard, Washington, 1985. So you go out, you think you're safe. I remember, the 80s. You're a young woman. You go out and drinking at the bar and stuff like that. A lot of times the cops were so friendly that they would give you a ride home just to make sure you were safe. They're not like that anymore, but they used to be. Okay, so this is Susie. I don't know. They might, some of them still be, but I don't know. But I know they were very kind and considerate back in the day. Susan Libby Marable. Do you remember her? We talked about her. She was 34 years old, Yakima, Washington. About 5 foot tall, 90 pounds. What happened to her? She was at a bar, at a tavern, and she disappeared in the parking lot. The year before, she had gotten kidnapped and abducted and raped by a stranger, right? She pressed charges. His name was John Robinson. And then the bartender saw her get into a maroon pickup truck, which he recognized as owned by Bill Robinson, the brother of the guy that was convicted for kidnapping and raping her. She is never heard from again. But what is also interesting for a maroon pickup truck in the area was who owned a maroon pickup truck? It's right here somewhere. I just saw it. Oh, the Green River Killer had a maroon Dodge pickup truck. I don't know if you remember that or not, but he had a maroon Dodge pickup truck as well. So, and then we have, um, yeah, I kept this open because I couldn't remember who was killing during what years. I like to have my little cheat sheet. So, and then we have Julia Lynn Miranda, if I can click on it. Okay, and she went missing from the same bar that Susan Libby Marable did, I believe. She's 5 foot tall, 125, 140 pounds, 1990, right? She was at that Sports Center Tavern, I believe. I don't quote me on it for sure, but I'm pretty certain it was that same bar. I don't see it here, but I'm pretty sure. I don't know why I don't see it here. Oh, here we go. She got in a vehicle, Yakima Sports Center, Yakima, Washington. Same bar that Susan Libby Marable disappeared from, and they think it was Robert Lee Yates Jr. But because another woman disappeared from the same area a month after her, and she went missing December 7th, 1990, and she went missing 4/23, 1991. So I'm not sure if they're referring to her as the one going missing a month after her because it was 4 months after, or if there was somebody else that went missing in between. And they think hers was Robert Lee Yates Jr., but she got into a maroon pickup truck, and they believe that it was owned by Bill Robinson. So my question is, how many times had John Robinson done things to women? How many times did he gotten away with it? Did him and Bill Robinson do things together because they were brothers? Did Bill Robinson own the maroon pickup truck? Did Bill Robinson kill her? Did she got into the pickup truck? And John Robinson had been threatening her family like a week or two before, and then she got into the pickup truck with Bill Robinson if it was his pickup truck like the bartender thought. Or was that maroon pickup truck, did it actually belong to Gary Ridgway, and was Gary Ridgway killing people in the area of Yakima, Washington? Because I don't know if you've ever talked to somebody that's a killer. If that's what I think that if I've never been in law enforcement, but I think that, and maybe I don't have a right to opinion, but my opinion is that if somebody's going to investigate murders, that it would help them to first talk to murderers, talk to them, get to know them, that are locked up, and find out what they think about. And they target people, if they want to, they target people that, drinking in a bar, 5 foot tall, right? This girl here, 5 foot tall. This one, 5 foot tall. This one here, 5 foot tall about. They're about tiny, petite. They don't weigh anything, right? 90 pounds, 100 pounds. They don't weigh anything. They're just targeting these tiny, petite women after they've been drinking, and they're vulnerable, and they're easy marks. And it's just terrible. It's just horrifying. So, and all these women, you'll see a lot of them that went missing, never found their remains. Tiny little petite women. So, they people, it seems like monsters, yes, monsters prey on people that are easy marks, easy targets. That's why some of them kill animals when they're younger, and that's some monsters target children. They're defenseless, people who can't defend themselves. You're 5 foot tall, 90 pounds, and you've been drinking or doing drugs or whatever. How are you going to be able to defend yourself? This girl's going out to drink. She's a mom. She probably didn't usually drink, so she's tiny, petite. She's been drinking. She's an easy mark, and they've never found her remains, and they don't know who did it. And to me, this really upsets me. I wish that more people would take the time to figure out a way to make sure people get home safely, to make sure that people are not an easy mark if they want to get out and hang out with their friends for a night and I don't want them to be an easy mark. I want people to look out for them, right? Parking lot of a bar. Why not have somebody walk around, or even volunteer to walk around? Have somebody volunteer to give them a ride home. Make sure if somebody's getting a vehicle with, make sure you have a cameras. But now, I don't think they had cameras back then like they do now. And then they'd probably park a block away or half a block away. You never know, but it's so sad. Here's this woman, 5'2", 110 pounds, only 24 years old, and nobody knows where her remains are. They've never had her remains. They've never been able to have a funeral, and she was a mom. So if you know what happened to her, please call the sheriff department and tell them. If you've talked to somebody that's been drinking, and you heard a rumor and you're not sure if it's true, email them, call them, let them know. I'm not sure. This is what I heard. I don't know if it's true, but I thought, why should I take this information to my grave? Why not give it to you and let you decide if this information is important, if this information might help you with your case, right? Give it to them. Let them know. It doesn't matter. It only matters if it's hearsay if you're going to court. It don't matter if it's hearsay if it's information that might help them solve a case. Hearsay is fine if you're just letting them know, because they can try to get evidence elsewhere, and maybe it'll help them somehow. Maybe, you never know how it might help them. Especially if it's going to help them find the remains or the body or something. You want them to have that type of information. You don't want to keep it a secret. I would make sure they know. So if you have information about this case or any other case, any case that you know where somebody's been killed and they can't find them, or they're missing, or something happened, contact the authorities. Email them. You can CC more than one person when you email them. That way you know, hey, they saw it, they got the information, somebody else saw this information, more than one person saw this information. So they're going to make a note of it. I just I just can't even believe that things like this have so many young women that went missing in that area. So many of them. And you go through the Jane Does trying to figure out, what could it be, this person, it could it be this person, but 5'2", 110 pounds. That's what I'm saying. 5 foot, 5 foot to 5'2", 90 pounds. And your weight fluctuates, so you between 10 and 15 pounds a lot of times. And then this one, 5 foot to 5'2", 125 pounds. You know, they don't. It's very sad. It's just, to me, because so many of them are just tiny, vulnerable, and they find them in a vulnerable position, you know, and they take advantage of them. But don't forget, I'm starting to ramble, but don't forget to stop and pray for this woman, for her family that's never been able to have a proper funeral, to scatter her ashes or anything like that, you know. It's just wrong, and they haven't had closure because they don't know where she's at. And this young woman whose family's the same way, and this young woman and other families that are out there that have not gotten the remains for their loved ones. It's for their children, their grandchildren, maybe it's their mother or grandmother, you know, they don't have the closure, and they still are missing. They still haven't found the body. They should be allowed to have closure. So if you know any information, please contact authorities. Please let them know the information. Help get these cases solved, you know. I think that they should use the DNA. If people do genealogy through DNA, I think that police and law enforcement should have access, ready access to this to be able to solve crimes. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's not right? Do you think that is invasion of privacy? Or do you think that they should have access to that to be able to solve crimes when they have DNA and to see whose DNA it is? Let me know what your opinion is. And please don't forget to pray for these people and their families. And thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day. Bye bye.